Hello and welcome back to another episode of Outside the Arc. Again, I'm joined today by Shane King and Shane Brown. Hi guys, how are we doing?
All good, Dylan. Thanks.
Same as.
See,
Thanks,
see,
Dylan.
good to hear, boys. See here, I'm in new surroundings today. But here we go. New surroundings, same podcast, and same talking points, and we're gonna go straight into it. Kerry Dublin, right from so obviously we've seen Dublin very good performance against Galway last 2 weeks ago. What do you think they need to offer that they haven't shown already this year to beat this Kerry team?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think they've been very good. Probably need to convert a little more of their scoring chances. Um, but look, they have a great chance Sunday. I suppose Kerry Dublin games are always hard to predict. You can't really write any team off when Kerry play Dublin. It's the biggest rivalry in GA. It's the best rivalry. It's the biggest game. Croke Park is sold out Sunday for a reason. It's going to be a cracker. Dublin are going to bring a lot to the game. They're going to bring a fight. They're going to be up for it. So I think it's I think it's going to be very close, and I'm very nervous about it. But from what I've seen of Dublin, they definitely have what it takes to beat us.
What was your top Shane King would go at for Dublin chances versus Kerry?
Well, look, I think Dublin have a very good chance. They've kind of hit peak form at the moment, coming off the back of two great wins against Donegal and Galway. And then I suppose the turning point has been Ger Brennan coming back to them. He joined them after his serving his suspension there in the Cavan game, and since then they've been on a winning form, winning the last three games. But look, it seems like a long time ago since Westmeath bet them in Westmeath bet them in Croke Park, and indeed Loud bet them just a matter of weeks after that. It seems a long time since then. And look, this Dublin team have really come on since then. The return of Conor Callaghan has been huge for them. And then, the likes of Niall Scully and Brian Howard have been exceptional in the last two games as well. Padraig Coffey-Byrne as well, coming back from that injury he sustained in the Leinster final. So they still have a lot of experience, which is promising for this Dublin team. Jack O'Connor said in an interview after the semi-final or the quarterfinals that Dublin's kick-out press is one of the most impressive in the country. So like if they can press the kickouts on Kerry and put some pressure on up there and win some of those kickouts and build a bit of momentum, that is going to be key for them. And as I said, they have huge experience even in the likes of Cormac Costello, Paddy Small and Colin Basquel as well to come off the bench. They've huge experience there. I just think the thing that they're going to struggle with is containing Dylan Geeney and David Clifford up front. As I said, they've experience there with those lads that I mentioned, but that full back line and those man markers, they don't really have the quality there. And I think if David Clifford and Dylan Geeney can run amok up there, that's going to struggle for Dublin. But history is kind of against Kerry here. In the last eight championship meetings since the 2011 final, Kerry have only won one game against Dublin. That was in 2022. There was a draw in the mix there, and then Dublin won the other six. So history is against this Kerry team. But as I said, it's going to be a great game, one of the best rivalries, as Shane said, in the GAA, but it's going to be a cracking game. And I think it's going to be much closer than some people might think. And I think this Dublin team are hitting peak form at the moment, which I think uh, it will favour them.
Because I want to go back to what both of you have said there. You said about Dylan Gainey and David Clifford scoring, and then Shane Brown, you said about their wides. Do you think this game is going to be who can outscore the other team?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. There's neither of these teams are going to be defensive. Yeah, I think it will be a shootout, but I think the biggest thing is the midfield battle. Whoever gets on top of kickouts will win the game, in my opinion. And look, with our middle four, I suppose, with Sean O'Brien, Mark O'Shea, and Joe and Dermot O'Connor, I think hopefully we will have the upper hand around the middle, and we will get control out there, and hopefully that will lead us to getting over the line. But as Shane said, in recent years, history is against us. We've only beaten them once in championships since 2009, as he said. That was in 2022. The first game a draw in 2019, and in Dublin with 6 wins. But look, it's always, I suppose, all of those games have been tight. The biggest margin was the replay in 2019. Dublin won by 6 points. That's the biggest margin of victory since 2009, when Kerry destroyed Dublin. But that's the biggest margin of victory, 6 points in that time. So the games are always close. They're always down to the wire. So I think it's going to be the same on Sunday. But hopefully the green and gold come out at the right side of it.
Another key talking point in the game as we were talking about last week from both Shane Murphy and Cummingford was the kickouts. We were talking there about I think it was Shane King about the Dublin press, or we were talking about the Dublin press. Yeah. How important will it be for Dublin to get on top of Kerry, especially with the way with 26 from 30? How important is it to get those turnovers from the Kerry kick out?
Well, it's hugely important. Like, if you look at any game this year, any team that has been able to win one or two opposing kickouts and build momentum and get scores from that, that creates huge momentum for a team. And it really is key. Like, if you're winning opposing kickouts, you're building momentum for yourselves. The opposition are being deflated. The goalkeeper is getting frustrated. The crowd is getting frustrated. If you can press kickouts and win opposing kickouts, that is a huge momentum swing for any team, and it creates a serious purple patch in the games these days. But look, as you were saying about will this game be a shootout? I don't know who I heard. I think it was on the radio or a podcast during the week saying that with the new rules now, cornerbacks and defenders are finding it so hard to defend, and that it really is a shootout. It's a matter of who can score more in games, and we can see the amount of shots been shot in games. The stats are quite high on it. But look, as I said, the new rules have allowed for that bit more space. Defensive games are slightly more of a thing of the past now, which is great. The kickouts, if you can win kickouts, it's a great momentum builder. And in terms of the shootout, it really is going to be who is going to score the most. I know it sounds basic, but that is the facts of the matter here. And we've seen Dublin sides in the last couple of games. I think it was Pat Spillane was writing in the paper during the week that Dublin are going to be spending this 2-week break practicing shooting. And I think if they can get their shooting boots on, I think it's going to be a cracking game, and it's going to be really, really tight.
And that's that, Shane?
Yeah, look, I suppose I just want to say matchups I think are going to be really important this weekend. Who marks Con from a Kerry's perspective? It probably will be Jason Foley. It probably has to be. I hope that Brino Bugley is back, and because he'd be the man I'd put on Scully, I think. I suppose matchups are going to be key on both sides. Who do Dublin put on Clifford and on Dylan Gainey, and even Paddy and Shawnee if he's right. But matchups are going to be key, and as momentum, as Shane said, is going to be huge because, as I said, it's going to be a full house. There's going to be a huge Dublin crowd there. So if Dublin do get on top of the Kerry kick out, the roar from the hill is going to drive them on, and it could turn the game in their favour. So kickouts are huge, momentum is huge, but I think with the confidence Shane Murphy has at the moment, and as I mentioned earlier, our middle four,
Oh,
I think we will control the kick out battle and the battle around the middle.
sorry, yeah. I think it will come down to my opinion. I think it will come down to kickouts. I think as Shane, I want to bring to what Shane King said there actually about the momentum switch. I do really believe that's a massive thing with the new rules, especially 2 pointers and how you can get on top of teams, you can kill deficits and build leads very quick. I think for Dublin, it will be getting on enough kickouts, making a massive lead, 7 points, and then from there, I do agree. But this point Shane made is true. How they have to cope with Dylan Gainey and David Clifford, and we were talking about the Dylan Gainey shooting last week, 17 from 17, that's gonna cause for a Dublin team. Let's be honest, they got out of the game with the victory. The black card helped a lot against Galway, but they were very wasteful time, especially in that first half. I believe if Dylan Gainey, as you were saying, continues that type of shooting and David Clifford, well, could be trouble for Kerry or Dublin. Sorry.
Yeah, certainly it could be a bit of trouble. Like if you just take their Leinster campaign, for example, they were ran right to the wire against Wicklow, uncomfortable against a poor Loud team, and it was the momentum that carried Westmeath over in the Leinster final. Once we swung over a couple of 2 pointers there in the first half of extra time, once the crowd got behind Westmeath, Dublin were a depleted team from that, but. As Shane said as well there about the roar from the hill, the Dubs fans are back. They're back in numbers, and it's going to be a huge difference in this game as well. Kerry people, I'm told, don't travel up till the All Ireland final. So, will they be making the trip up to Crow Park? We'll see.
Don't
But
worry, we're coming in numbers. We're coming in numbers.
But yeah, as I think, as I said there, momentum is going to be a huge thing, and the defensive setup, how Dublin set up against Kerry, it's going to be interesting, because David Clifford and Dylan Geeney are hugely dangerous. But at the same time, Conor Callaghan is very dangerous as well. He's not 100% right since that hamstring injury, but despite that, he scored 1-7 in the quarter final, 4 of those points coming from play as well. So. If they put Jason Foley on him, he's going to have a tough day at the office as well. So look, as I continue to say, it's going to be a close game. But as Shane said as well, if they get their matchups right on either side, I think that is going to be a huge bearing on this game.
We had predictions, so Shane King will start. What do you think the margin of victory for either team will be?
I'm going to say extra time, Kerry by 2.
Oh, Shane, man, what's your thoughts?
Um, just quickly before we move on, can I just talk about, I suppose, the meaning of this game? Look, Kerry Dublin is 100%. I know I already said it, but it's 100% by far the biggest game in Gaelic football. This rivalry started a long, long time ago. I suppose it really started in 1955 and then was revitalised in the 70s with Miko and Hefo. But look, this game means so much. It's the city Jackeens against the Colchies. It's the two most successful teams in the country. It's 39 All Irelands against 31. This game just means so much to both sets of supporters and both sets of players. Croke Park is going to be a cauldron of atmosphere. There's going to be nerves. There's going to be excitement. And look, and to come to my prediction, I don't think we'll need extra time. I hope not. And I think Kerry by 4.
Yeah, similar to the Tyrone game, I agree. I think it'll come down to the wire at normal time. Dublin will go chasing, and Maybe another last-second goal on the hooter to see out the game, 4-point Kerry win. We have our special guest here to join us, Dylan Flynn.
Right.
All right.
Well, boys, how are we?
Well, Dylan, how are you?
Not too bad, boys. How is getting on? Yeah, so, look,
Kerry, Dunn, what do you think?
I might be wearing the Dublin jersey. That doesn't mean I'm a Dublin man, but I am going to go with Dublin. Dublin are on a bit of momentum at the moment, and it'd be a close game. Might call for extra time, possibly, but I don't know. Dublin, I think they'll put a test up to Kerry, I think, personally. I think it'd be a great game. I think it'll decide who wins the All-Ireland this year, 100%. But, yeah, it'd be a great game, I think.
For you have a few words to say to Shane.
I watched a couple of podcasts now, and I think I have to be saying I'm one of them people that gives out about the referees, so cursing and shouting at referees. So I'm going to disagree with that because there was a couple of poor decisions at the Galway game. Dylan would agree with me, but Conor Cleeson has to hurry up with his kickouts, I think, personally. Yeah.
And what about the shortening league as well?
Oh, no. Keep the league, keep the O'Byrne Cup. Get the boys running. It'd be grand.
Were any of you at those games, though?
Yeah, we were. I brought this man with me.
We had
Yeah. We were a bit rowdy now ourselves, but
and get heated.
it can get heated. It was
passion.
It was a hot and sunny day, like, so. Bit of passion.
But yeah, if we move on to the next All Ireland, because we were talking about last week, we were saying this game, Dublin Kerry, would be the All Ireland, would be pretty much the All Ireland final. Well, let's not forget about the other tie. We still have another tie, and that's Louth Mayo. How do you see this game going? Louth obviously coming off a very impressive 14-man victory versus Monaghan, and then Mayo with a good win with a clinical performance against Cork. How do you see this game playing out? Start with Shane King.
It's going to be an interesting game, I think. We're lucky with the draw in the sense that we've two very balanced semi-finals. Look, Mayo are coming into good form like Dublin. They had a great win over Cork. Cork, as we said last week, were very disappointing. But to Mayo's credit, they did well. Their forwards of Dara Byrne, Kobe McDonald and Ryan O'Donoghue are just excellent at the moment. Scoring 19 points between the three of them in the last game was huge for them. But there's not much precedence between these two teams. You know, they've met once in the 1950 All-Ireland final, and then 3 years ago when Mayo had a handy win over them. So they were really the only championship meetings or the only championship meetings ever. So it's going to be interesting. I think based on Mayo's championship so far, it's been very up and down, like losing a Connacht semi-final to Roscommon, and then when they got into the All-Ireland Championship, then, you know, they've had some up and down displays, you know, losing to Tyrone with just a lack of confidence at times, like decision making at times let them down, cost them that Tyrone game, I think. A stupid free there for Aidan O'Shea that led to Tyrone getting the winning score at the end of at the other end of the field. And I think their defence at times has been quite open. If you saw the Monaghan game, Monaghan were in for several goal chances, only that they didn't convert them. Mayo were going to be in a lot of trouble. But look, as I said, those forward line of Dara Byrne, Kobe McDonald and Ryan O'Donoghue, if they can get ball into them, you know, they're going to cause serious damage. And as similar to the other semi-final, it's going to be that midfield battle that's going to be huge. And whoever can get on top of that, I think is going to have the upper hand in this game. It's going to be close, but I suppose Mayo are going in as favourites. But if anybody has been watching Mayo football over the last 10, 15 years, we all know what they're like. They're unpredictable, and if anyone's going to beat Mayo, it'll nearly be themselves at the weekend. So, not to be harsh now to Mayo, but going on history, that's what the story that it will tell. But it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a tight game. You know, Louth are going to bring a great support, as will Mayo. It's been a while since Mayo have been in an All-Ireland semi-final, and it's even longer since Louth have. So, yeah, a really interesting game and a great game to look forward to.
What's your thoughts on this? And add to that?
again, as I said about the Kerry Dublin game, matchups are going to be huge. Who the loud put on Ryan O'Donoghue, Dara Byrne and Kobe, and I suppose who do Mayo put on Sam Mulroy, and even who will be tagging Craig Lennon and players like this, I suppose, and Dara MacDonald. But look, I think, as Shane said, Mayo are slight favourites, and I do think Mayo are going to come out just about. But look, the last time Louth were in an All Ireland semi final, they went on to win the All Ireland. So you never know what can happen. But yeah, I think Mayo just have too much firepower in that full forward line. So I think Mayo by 2 points.
Yeah, the Mayo forward line, I think was it they scored 19 points, but out of I think going into the last 5 minutes, they scored nearly all the points for Mayo. It was insane, and that could be another if Dara Byrne can play the way he did in that second half. On top of your Kobe and Ryan O'Donoghue, because we know they're going to perform. Dara Byrne showed up big time last time out. If he can show up again, and obviously you'll have Ryan O'Donoghue and Kobe shooting as well. I agree, Shane. I think damage will be done. Loud. They need a performance from McDonald can do what he did against Monaghan. I think Mayo will struggle, but that's a lot to ask from a 21-year-old. We'll have to see. Dylan, what was your thoughts? What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I said like it's Dublin Kerry game. It's another close game to call. Two evenly matched sides. Loud coming off a great win, as you said, a 14 man Loud team against Monaghan. And Darren MacDonald as well was influential with kickouts. I think Monaghan were a bit lost without Rory Beckham with the short kickout, but look, Loud did well. Sam Mulroy proving he's a big player for them. And then with Mayo, Cole McDonald, like it was his first time playing at Croke Park against Cork. Second time now, and that's on a bigger stage, All Ireland semi final. But it'll be a close game. I'd like to see Loud winning. A bit of a change in a
That's actually
final.
It's a very good point you brought up. What do you think of the pressure that's going to be on the young forward line in Dara Byrne and Cole MacDonald to perform at such a big stage? How do you think they're going to cope?
Well, I suppose it's hard to believe their age. Like they're very mature for 19-year-olds, like, same age as ourselves. I certainly wouldn't have the nerve going out to a packed Crow Park that they have, but they've shown huge maturity for their age. It didn't really affect them in the last game, so I don't know why I should affect them in this game. I suppose, there's probably more pressure on the older lads of the team because, some of them have been there before. This is a new experience for them. They've a long career ahead of themselves. For some of the older players in the Mayo team, this will be last chance saloon. With the way the All Ireland series is set up, this is the best chance Mayo have of winning Sam in a long time, and possibly will ever be. The likes of Aidan O'Shea there. This is possibly hit one of his last seasons as a footballer. He's played. Is it the most games than of any outfield player there? A few games ago he got that. So it's players like him who've been there before and have experienced the heartbreak and the losses that they've had in Croke Park that the pressure will be on, to be honest. And I think these young lads seem to be thriving under pressure, and hopefully that stays going the way it is, and that the occasion doesn't get to them, because we want to see a good game.
So we had an abrupt end to the episode, technical difficulties, but I don't want to miss out on one game we missed, and that is down Wicklow Tailteann Cup final. With this game, I think Wicklow have a great chance to cause an upset. We've seen in the Offaly game when they looked down and out, they brought it back and ended up winning the game. I think we could see something similar again. I think the best chance Wicklow will have is to get that early goal. Something what they did against Dublin, they caused Dublin big issue when they got that early goal on them. Dublin scraped out that game, as Shane was mentioned earlier in the episode. But I think for down though, I think it's an opportunity.
I think they should have been. They would feel hard done by that they weren't in the All Ireland series this year. But I think this game tomorrow, as recording, is a great opportunity for them to put a statement to the rest of the country that they belonged in that competition and that they'll be ready for business next year. So I think for both teams, it's an opportunity. For Wicklow, we could see them in the All Ireland series next year easily. I wouldn't write Wicklow off, not at all. But for Down, it's in my opinion, based on what happened to them with Westmeath obviously making to the Leinster final, knocking them down to the second tier competition. I think it's a huge opportunity to put a statement, and I think that's what they may have to go do. So thank you everyone for listening. We should catch you next week. We're reviewing the All Ireland series semi-finals, and we'll also review the Tailteann Cup final and just Tailteann Cup overall. So thanks guys, and chat to you in a bit.